You ready? Let's go. Hello. Welcome to the preserve.
Here we're now in the middle of a 260-acre nature preserve. We'd like to invite you in to look at what we're doing here. It's a little different than, say, what the average American gets to see. Come on in.
Come on in. Ring the bell as you come in. That's our doorbell. Now this is our front hallway. Looks like a path through the forest, but it's really the hall of our house. This is the Misty Brook, which has little animal tracks next to it. All sorts of creatures live here. And we get our water from this creek.
We got the idea for the path from Tarzan movies. Both of us liked the Tarzan movies when we were younger. Growing up.
We try to minimally alter the forest in order to live here.
So the whole preserve is governed under the concept of the Janus principle of ahimsa, A-H-I-M-S-A, which means you try to minimize harm to everything and maximize well-being for everything. So that's why we have done everything the way we've done it. For example, the cottages all are built, and the sheds, the garage, are built out of scrap wood, recycled, reclaimed lumber. This one costs $450. The porch, for instance, cost $11 to build because, again, we just pick up scrap wood. People call us, they have a shed they're taking down. And what's particularly unique about this cottage is that both front doors, first one and the second one, are from our childhood home. The dark blue one is from my childhood home. It was a front door. And the light blue one is from Peg's childhood home, her front door. We think that's pretty neat. As you know, we have, as you can see, there's solar panels, which are our source of electricity, because we, again, do not like nuclear power. We want to minimize the drain on future generations having to deal with nuclear waste. We also heat with passive solar heat, and have super insulated all the cottages, so you can almost heat them on what you would a small closet or a bathroom. We, for instance, in the middle of winter, when there's no sun, we heat with softwood, which most people think is totally unuseful for burning.
This is our outdoor shower right here. And we use a sprinkling can. Actually, our indoor shower is the same thing, but it's in a shower stove, of course. But we heat this on top of our gas or wood stove, and it makes a really nice shower.
Down here you'll see the path or the hallway to our water system. We did have indoor plumbing, but we took it out because it was quite noisy. And both of us love to go to the stream where there are fish, which we're able to give oatmeal to. And let's go down here and take a closer look. It's just a pleasant experience to go each day, see what's happening in the stream, what fish are here. So we draw our water with buckets. And that also minimizes how much water we use because we don't waste any because it means more hauling. In the spring, this is all flooded, so we have to be extra careful with our water. And we do boil it at most of the time, although we've never had a problem with any kind of disease because on both sides of the stream, it's just no human population exists, and so it's a pretty good creek right here. We feel very privileged to live on an unpolluted brook. Very privileged. Why don't you come in the house now?
So, hi, welcome to our house. Glad you're here. Take a look around. It's small, but it's the intimate part of our living quarters. It's where we keep warm, we keep fed, relax, entertain,
Sleep
and sleep.
and eat.
Right.
We do have telephone. We have a
This is my music studio.
satellite dish, all run off solar power. As we do not believe that a simpler life means you have to be miserable, you have to live in pain. We try to have the comforts. But again, even having a satellite dish is nice because it minimizes how many times we have to go out to go for entertainment. We can just have our home entertainment and minimize traveling.
This is our refrigerator for most of the year. In the summer we use a gas refrigerator, but fall, winter, and spring we use root cellars. And we also store, well, we got a lot of wild apples here, and I dry quite a few of them for the winter. And then we'll replace these with the vegetables from our big organic garden. And they'll keep vegetables fresh until late spring.
Upstairs on this side is my study loft, and I have books, and you can get your video camera up there. I've got books and the telephone, research materials. On the other side of the loft is where we dry things, everything from Peg's basket materials to mint leaves. It works out really well. Again, minimizing how much space we need to use.
And therefore how much fuel we have to burn. Come take a look at the bedroom. Now most of the things in this house are hand-built. The bed's built out of birch twigs. We put this netting up to help keep the mosquitoes, etc., from destroying our restful sleep. Then here's our indoor shower stall. And a little gas heater for even heat.
And we have a telephone near the bed, so it's very comfortable year-round. Can you turn that off, man? We're now going down our hallway to our reservoir, which is used in the summer for watering the garden, especially during droughts, and also can be used for swimming around. We use no chemicals because water is pumped in daily and pumped out, so there's no problem. It's like a small lake. And we enjoy, when it gets 90 degrees, going in there for a while to cool off. Good, clean brook water. Peg is kind of the head gardener, takes the lead on gardening, so I'll let her talk about that for a minute.
Okay, well, should I look? Oh, okay, sure.
Well, first one we show, this is a little chapel area we created for weddings. I do weddings sometimes here at the house. And this is Venus, goddess of love and beauty and gardens and flowers. And it's nice to have this spot for couples who want an outdoor wedding here in the forest. We also have over here a gazebo, which is kind of my summer office, where we get away from the bugs and where we rest after our morning chores. It was built again for about $40 out of scrap wood. Even the door, again, is just an old door someone threw out, pieces of wood from the forest. Normally we only take dead trees unless they're around the garden or in danger or blocking sunlight from the panels or our passive solar.
Come take a peek in the garden.
Getting deeper in the garden through the gazebo, which is covered with morning glories.
I'll open the gate for you. We keep everything well fenced so that we can live very peacefully with the forest creatures who might like to eat some of the vegetables, but the fence keeps them out. So this year I grew about 100 tomato plants. I'm hoping to can maybe 100 quarts of tomato sauce. A lot of potatoes, celery, cucumbers, mint, lettuces, and hopefully about 200 pounds of carrots. And all those will store in the root cellar until next spring. Here's more of our solar panels to make our electricity, and a greenhouse, which we also built out of scrap wood, and that helps to extend our growing season. Now, that little cage there around the strawberry bed was built to keep the chipmunks out. They'd come and steal our strawberries. We didn't feel good about having to relocate them, so we built a cage with a lid that goes over the top.
$50 tool shed, which is really the hub of our work world. Everything in the tool shed is marked. Even on the outside we have places for jars. Inside we have enough tools here to build a home. As you can see, the tools are all marked, so if one is lost, we immediately put out a tool alert. And we've only lost one tool to date in the 25 years we've been here.
We're still missing a screwdriver.
That's it. This is our five-wheeler shed where we store it. The one important piece of equipment that allows us to do what we call minimum selective logging. We mostly just cut dead trees, try not to harm any trees around it, and leave the forest for other creatures and other generations to enjoy. So this has 5 wheels, and it goes through the forest. When it runs over a tree, the soft wheels, they bounce right back up, and I can carry a half a cord of wood in the back of that, and again minimally harm nature going in and around the trees, where the bigger rigs end up ripping out trees and tearing off their bark.
Over the gate here helps prevent porcupines from chewing tires and stuff.
Over here we have our outdoor composting units. We don't even waste our waste. The night water, we call it, normally is taken and used in the vegetable garden only till about June 15, 30 days before we begin considering any kind of harvesting. And the hard waste is taken to the orchard, and so our whole preserved vegetables are fertilized by our own waste, which is organic, along with sand and compost from the forest, leaves, and we do buy a little bit of lime to sweeten the soil. But we think this is coming, and they even have a book called Humanure. You have to be very careful with this. So if you want to do anything like this, you should definitely do a little research, a lot of research, before you attempt any kind of fertilizing with your own wastes. We're now going down our hallway to the laundry. This is where we do all our laundry, including suits and fancy dresses. We don't go to the dry cleaners because of the toxic chemicals they use that often are just poured into the water supply via the sewer systems or the treatment plant. So until they begin using carbon dioxide or other methods of cleaning, we try to avoid any dry clean. And we just use these plungers, and we use a very nice soap that's biodegradable, and we throw the water up here on the bank, and we wash with this old-fashioned washing machine, which if you get close you can see. We draw our water from the creek, put it in here, plunge it, and then of course just dry it on the line.
And things that are really soiled, we just scrub with a brush.
We have 2 refrigerators in the preserve, and they're located between the various cabins. So in the hot summer, both 2 cabins can use one refrigerator, like this one, for our cottage and the children's cottage, which we'll now go to next. These are only used for about 3.5 months. The root cellars are plenty adequate after that. This is the children's cottage. It was built for $225 out of scrap wood. Heavily insulated with triple pane windows. Lots of Reflectex and insulation in the walls. We even have a scrap wood playground with things like sliding boards and chin bars and swings. And again, they get their water from the creek. Our children spent many of their childhood months here with us. They're now, of course, fully grown, but now it's used for family who visit and host friends. Let's go inside to show you what happens with $225 properly invested. Don't show this.
So it's set up pretty much like our cottage with the same kind of wood stove, a gas hot plate for cooking, and an indoor shower with a sprinkling can. They have a little TV.
Again, solar energy, and upstairs there's room for 3 to sleep, 2 adults and 1 child, and we have had many people stay here, including our son lived here almost 2.5 years with his family as he saved money to build his own house in another part of the preserve.
There's the ladder to the loft.
The ladder is, as you can see, just a tree trunk that we cut the branches off of.
It's more like an attic, but well, we've had a lot of people sleep up here. Kids always love it. They get up here and we can't get them back down.
The garage is really a carport. It was built for $43, and it's really nice in the winter to keep the snow off the windshields to go to work. And we're now walking over to one of the things we offer at the preserve. We offer canoes for people to take to visit. We have bicycles that people can take out.
You're right down the end of this path is where people take a half-mile walk to get to the canoes in the beautiful Black Creek.
Absolutely gorgeous creek. The canoe, anytime in the year. Over here is the new bike stable. It's built for $42 from a couple other sheds that we took down. We have different bikes and we name them like horses, so if you have an imagination, you can feel like you're taking out a horse without all the worry about caring for horses. There's Silver and Cocoa and Champion, Flicka and Black Beauty and Thunder. Over here we have one of our feeding stations. We are a wildlife halfway house, so to speak, and we also encourage wildlife to come around, so we have a feeding station here with a mineral salt block beneath this. We do not allow hunting or trapping. We do not favor these things, and we don't allow them on our preserve, and we feel pretty good about the fact that year-round people can come here and be safe, not worry about accidentally getting shot or whatever. We're now going down to the community watering hole where people can visit, get their water, or can have picnics.
There goes a frog.
And it's called the Garden of Roz because it was actually developed by one of our visitors. So we really like it. People come here and they can visit during the day when they're getting their water, like the old biblical times, the well. It's a place you might pick up on the latest information on what's going on in the preserve.
Sometimes visitors will have a little picnic here. This is the entrance to the retreat cottage. You just pass the doorbell. And this is where our visitors stay. Let's see, the last visitor here said they saw a deer right outside their window. And when they were bicycling down to the Black Creek, one of them went right by 2 bear cubs, he said.
This also houses our 500-volume library with all kinds of interesting books on the subjects that the preserve values, such as simpler living, organic gardening. We really like organic gardening, do-it-yourself self-sufficiency, nature preservation, solar energy, and all. Come on inside and you can see This is where a lot of our guests, we had just a couple high school students biking through the Northeast, stayed here for 5 days. And plenty to read, although people may want to take out books too.
We've had visitors from all over the world this year, from Taiwan and Switzerland.
Again, it's solar energy supplemented with oil lamps. But people who stay in our cottages, generally we encourage them to kind of get into the getting up when the sun rises and going to bed when the sun goes down.
This is netting, again, to help. They can drop this down when it's buggy.
Okay. This has also, you never stayed here, you ought to try it. There's a nice gas heater. In the middle of winter, it's 30 below, you can be toasty warm. But I'll catch up with you, I gotta fix this.
Alright, well, this is my little craft shop where I make baskets out of materials from their surrounding forest. Come on in.
Her motto is, our gifts are earth friendly as a robin's nest. She also teaches craft classes.
So let's see. Well, basically, this is most of the material that I use. These are willows that I grow and willows from pussy willows, wild willows, and twigs. I think this is made out of twigs and willows. And a little bit of rustic furniture, a little bird feeder, and I've had influences from people from all different parts of Europe. So some of my baskets have German techniques, Italian techniques, English techniques, and French techniques, as well as some Native American influences. So there's some of the baskets I've made. There's a nice backpack down there. And then I grow a lot of flowers, share them with other people, and use them in craft classes.
Okay. This is Forest Press, the printing arm of the preserve. We publish a newsletter in May called The Peeper, and we publish materials on New Age themes. Come on in and you can see we have both modern and very, very old printing equipment. All the money made from this goes directly to charities that we support, from Planned Parenthood to the various causes that are trying to improve life on our planet. These are some of the books that we have published over the last 10 years. Published children's books as well. You can see here's an old-fashioned printing press, and here's a computer. And over here we have a very, very old trimmer to trim the books. And we have typesetting equipment here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but we have about everything. And this is a thing we make stationery with. Again, very, very old, and you clamp it down and paint the end of the stationery with rubberized glue. Okay. I don't know, is there a light on there? Now we're entering a different part of the preserve, and this is where we have some installation art. This is my childhood home, done with plywood. Okay, you can turn.
Wait a minute.
Okay. We're now going across the railroad tracks, which did fool a few people. It's hard to keep them up because we're always running and walking over them. And over here we have a 1940 era airport, including the hangar, which has an ultralight, which I fly on occasion. Parachute go-kart type plane. And this is the Coke machine I made. And This is the, whoops, this is the, quite exciting to be up at 2,000 feet in a little teeny chair looking down. And if I also build airplanes. This is one of my hobbies out of junk materials. This is a water tank, and that was a kerosene tank. It's a double winger. And we have an airport gazebo. This is where people can come to socialize or listen to the birds in the evening when it's buggy. And to the left, we have where our orchard, which is, as I said earlier, fertilized by the hard waste from the preserve, and is absolutely we started this was totally barren soil, just sand, and as you can see, it's blooming like a rose. It's well fertilized.
There's my little patch in the back.
You want to go inside? Okay, and then we can go down here and look at the rest of the areas too.
Yeah, we tried to grow trees before we started fertilizing this land. We were very
Look at the
unsuccessful.
size of these, just like
Doing great. You can get a view of the orchard this way.
it's
About 5 years old.
It's 5 years old. And still. Over here on the right is a plane I made out of a stovepipe from a church basement. They tore out these big pipes. And
this clearing was natural. We didn't
meadow.
we didn't take trees down for this.
but,
Shawangunk Meadow Airstrip.
I grew up on Lake Erie, and so I have a Lake Erie scene of a tugboat, a sailboat, and a lighthouse to the left. And then we can go down to the airstrip. You turn it off, and we'll take.
Okay.
This is the preserve recreational area, and we've had everything from touch football to hitting golf balls to jogging, cross-country skiing, and of course I use it when I fly the ultralight. We've had other ultralights in here too. Kite flying. It's a really nice place where people can get away from the forest and get a full view of the open sky. In the spring and summer you can see the fireflies. Just a really nice addition. Again, it was a meadow, and all we had to do was level it a little bit, and then I only have to mow it twice a year because the soil is so poor here, and we haven't fertilized it.
That concludes our tour, doesn't it?
Yeah, we hope you'll come and visit. We hope you've enjoyed this video of our preserve. And
Yeah, maybe you can come back in the winter and get a feel for what it's like in the winter.
hey,